Accepting the feature of Avadhuta,
After accepting the feature of Avadhuta,
a great saintly person without material cares,
a great saintly person without material cares,
Lord Rishabdev passed through human society
Lord Rishabdev passed through human society
like a blind, deaf, and dumb man,
like a blind, deaf, and dumb man,
an idle stone, a ghost, or a madman.
an idle stone, a ghost, or a madman.
Although people called him such names,
Also people called him such names.
he remained silent and did not speak to anyone.
He remained silent and did not speak to anyone.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Avadhuta refers to one who does not care for social conventions, particularly the Varnashram Dharma. However, such a person may be situated fully within himself and be satisfied with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, on whom he meditates. In other words, one who has surpassed the rules and regulations of Varnashram Dharma is called Avadhuta. Such a person has already surpassed the clutches of Maya, and he lives completely separate and independent. So this is interesting because here we have the Supreme Personality of Godhead behaving in a different way than he does sometimes in other incarnations. Here he's exhibiting the features of an Avadhuta, one who has completely renounced, one who has no more material business, no more material occupations, transcended the Varnashram system, and just walked around naked, didn't speak. Everyone thought he was dumb, crazy, an idiot. They would throw things at him, curse him, spit on him. But he was completely absorbed in transcendence. This is not for the general mass of people to imitate. Varnashram system is created by the Supreme Lord. Krishna states that in the Bhagavad Gita. That he has created these four orders, Chaturvarnyam, four orders of society. This is the social system by which Krishna has created the human society. This is a part of the creation of the Lord. And now, in the Kali Yuga, this Varnashram system has been largely forgotten and lost. The whole science of Varnashram is like history. The theoretical descriptions of it remain in some of the Shastras, but we don't find it very much applied or in practice. If you go to India and parts of the former Vedic world, you'll see that remnants of the Varnashram system remain. The various customs that people follow, the four social orders, the ashrams, but not perfectly. So the Varnashram system is meant for the masses of people who are in material consciousness, not those who are in transcendental bliss, not those who have achieved the highest transcendental platform of consciousness. Varnashram system is a means by which the masses of people can be organized and engaged so that gradually they make advancement in spiritual life. In other words, how will they do it? They're not going to be taking up devotional service, they're not going to be taking up renunciation, or they're not going to go and live in the temple. They're very much motivated by material desires and are engaged in fruitive activities. This is the way the material world is, has been, and always will be. Even our Krishna consciousness movement is only looking for those select few. What is that? What?
My telephone.
Oh. One time someone asked Prabhupada, so what will happen if what will happen to the material world if everyone becomes Krishna conscious and leaves? Goes back to Godhead. Prabhupada said, that's not possible. It won't happen. Material world is a play because there's always going to be living entities who rebel against the superiority of the Supreme Lord. They have to be sent to this material world. But our business is to try to rescue as many as we can. To search and find out those that can be brought back to the standard of Krishna consciousness. So, Varnashram system is meant for the general mass of people. It is what Prabhupada wanted us to follow, to set an example for others. Not that the devotees, the Vaishnavas, have to follow the Varnas or the ashrams. Devotees, we are absorbed in devotional service. We're always engaged in devotional service. So we don't really... we're doing this just to set the example for others. And to help those who are beginning on their spiritual paths. Organize them in such a way that their material life is very peacefully organized. Their necessities of life are very easily supplied. The anxieties are put to a minimum, and therefore their situation is favorable for taking up spiritual activities, for taking up Krishna consciousness. The Prabhupada always would say that a hungry man is not interested to chant Hare Krishna. That's why you want to distribute prasadam and then get them to chant. So Varnashram is the means, the system by which human society should be organized. Now they have different ideas that everyone should be a Vaishya, like in capitalism, or like in communism. There's still some parts of the world where communism is being propagated. Some countries in South America, Cuba, supposedly China and North Korea, although it's become very different now. But the communism is where everyone's supposed to be a Sudra. So there's not just one order of all Vaishyas or all Sudras. There's four. This is the way it's created by the Supreme Lord. And try as they may to organize it with one order, it won't work. Will you stop him playing with that incense?
Yeah, put it down right now and leave it.
Not a toy.
That's fine.
So Prabhupada came from India to London in August 1977 on his way to Gitanagari. The Gitanagari farm which he had toured the year before, 1976 or 75. And he liked it very much. He came to New Talavan, the farm in Mississippi. He, of course, went regularly to the farm in New Vrindavan. And in 75 or 76, he went once or twice to the Gitanagari farm in Pennsylvania. He was very inspired. He was very strong on pushing this aspect of the Krishna consciousness movement, that these farms should be established to institute the Varnashram system and show people how to live. It was meant to be a cultural revolution for the whole world. To show a social revolution. Show the whole world how to organize society. Forget about capitalism, communism, this ism, that ism. This is how you do it. Prabhupada was going there to show how to re-establish the Varnashram system. But here we see that Rishabdev was completely aloof, like an avadhuta. Not something that can be imitated. Even Prabhupada himself, when he came to preach Krishna consciousness, he didn't take the role, or he didn't assume the role of an avaduta, walking around like a dumb man, completely absorbed in transcendence. No, he descended from the Uttama Adhikari platform to the Madhyam Adhikari platform, the middle platform. He took the role of an ordinary Bengali gentleman, a pharmacist, someone from India, a man from India in Calcutta. Do you stop playing with it? Although he was not an Indian gentleman from Calcutta or a Bengali or anything like pharmacist, he was Nitya Siddha, eternally liberated soul, sent by Krishna from Vaikuntha. He was absorbed in the Leela. So I had one of the members of Krishna's eternal Leela in the spiritual world. But Krishna asked him to come to write books and start the Hare Krishna movement in the Western countries. So he did this by accepting this very unassuming role. And everyone was able to properly respect him, and they were very fond of him, attracted. Oh, how quaint, how nice. Like that, but if we knew who Prabhupada really was, we might be very shocked. So he took his role like that. Not as an avaduta. Still, the Supreme Lord Rishabdev, it was his desire in that incarnation to do such, to show that ultimately the spirit soul, it has nothing to do with this material world. Any further comments, contributions, deletions?
It might be noted that you were saying how what the benefit of the Varnashram Dharma system is that it makes everything very smooth, everything very nice and peaceful for devotional service. But that Vaishnavas, they're not really, I mean, we can act within it, but we can also act outside of it. But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he mentioned that when you really take up Krishna consciousness seriously, then your path becomes beset with thorns. So as you actually, advance out of the Varnashram Dharma, it's not smooth anymore. It's actually a lot of challenges and tests and things like that. And I think, but that Krishna always helps us through them. But sometimes devotees, they don't want to go further. They think, it's nice and smooth and everything's very great, and that's fine. But actually, if you want to go further, we will have to encounter problems so that we can get more purified. Yeah, it's always difficult. But in the lower stages, it's Maya. But actually, at higher level, Krishna is directly dealing with the devotees. Like Srila Prabhupada, he encountered so many problems, but those are not caused by Mahamaya. Those are all in Yoga Maya. And all his protection and everything that he went through, that's all. It's different energy than what we would be experiencing.
Mm-hmm. What is that, Sarjan? Okay, reading from Transcendental Diary, Hari Sori's memories here. Hari Kesha Maharaj discussed with Srila Prabhupada some of... See, there Prabhupada had gotten a letter.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to disturb you. Maybe you don't know, today is Ramananda Roy's disappearance day. If you wanted to read something about Ramananda Roy.
Oh, that'll take a while to find. Prabhupada, Harikesh received a letter from a devotee who was preaching in Eastern Europe. And Harikesh read it to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was very enthused about how they were describing how they were going on Sankirtan and distributing books, and the police would stop them, search them, arrest them, and let them go again. This is all in Yugoslavia and Poland. So Haryakesh Maharaj discussed with Srila Prabhupada some of the practical problems in keeping the Eastern European program going. This is at the time when they had the Iron Curtain, when Europe was split in half, and certain countries, it was very difficult to get in there, and it was very restricted society, like a police state. People couldn't do anything, couldn't meet, couldn't this, that. So these devotees, two devotees were preaching there. So Haryakesh discussed with Prabhupada some of the practical problems in keeping the Eastern European program going. In the course of their exchange, Prabhupada revealed the radical steps that he was prepared to take to ensure that this preaching in Eastern Europe went on. Haryakesh began to explain that apart from the risks involved, the big obstacle was lack of funding. He said that even something as basic as finding something to eat was a major difficulty. Oh, Prabhupada said, matter-of-factly, so if there's nothing else, you can eat meat if you have to. Harikesh's mouth dropped open a little bit and his eyes widened. Not knowing if Srila Prabhupada was serious or not, he tried to ignore what he had just heard and, and continued to say that even if he had money, there was nothing there to buy. But completely serious, Prabhupada again told him, so if there is difficulty, you can take meat. Haryakesh stopped. He appeared dazed as he contemplated the possible implications. But Prabhupada, what about my consciousness? Because he was just visiting and he was preaching in Eastern Europe. He just come to see Prabhupada. Prabhupada replied, damn your consciousness, you must go on preaching. So you see what the priorities are. Well, the priority is not taking care of yourself, but taking care of Krishna's business. And Krishna will then take care of you. We just surrender ourselves to Krishna. And Krishna will provide everything, take care of you. But if we try to take care of ourselves, forgetting our real business of serving Krishna, probably very graphically made this point. Of course, nobody ever had to eat meat. Also, there's a story about Bhaktisiddhanta. He was prepared to invite, this was in the 20s or the 30s, he was prepared to invite people. He told the devotees that he sent to Europe to open temples there, prepared to invite people to temple. To get them to come, if you had to serve them meat, then you could do it. Mm-hmm.
Prabhupada, when he was a little boy, he was very sick, and he said the thing that would help him would be chicken broth. But then he did never have to take it.
The story I
I think it was
heard.
Prabhupada,
Did I say not?
his son.
Oh, Prabhupada's son.
It was Prabhupada that had that happen. He said that his parents, he was very sick, and his parents wanted him to, so the doctor says, he needs to have chicken soup and broth. They brought the chicken soup, and he smelled it, and he got better.
He vomited.
That's what I thought.
So he couldn't eat it. That's why it smelled. He couldn't eat it. Since being instructed by Srila Prabhupada to begin a bullock cart traveling Sankirtan party, Lokanath Maharaj and his men have been busy here in Vrindavan acquiring all the materials they need. Turiyadas, the Vrindavan temple head pujari, gave them his own 12-inch brass Gaurnitai deities. They have obtained a trunk full of Prabhupada's books in Hindi, as well as various types of food supplies and pots and woks to cook in. Lokanath Maharaj has had a flyer printed for distribution to the villagers. It introduces the party, explains its purpose, and informs the reader that they are headed across the country to reach Mayapur by the next Gaur Purnim. Today was the appointed day of their departure from Vrindavan. and before setting off they performed a puja to inaugurate the party. They held a kirtan and broke a coconut. And then the whole group of about 10 men gathered in Srila Prabhupada's room at 4:30 p.m. They are mostly young Indian men, including Lokanath's cousin, Gaur Sundar, Atmatattva, Abhayashraya, Siddhartha, and Krishnanam Prabhus. A small number of Westerners included Hunkar and Chatramurti Prabhus from Colombia and Brazil respectively, as well as Ravi Prabhu from England. Lokanath Maharaj offered Srila Prabhupada a plate of broken coconut, who graciously popped a small piece in his mouth and then gave one to each of the men. Prabhupada glorified the simple village life and told Lokanath Maharaj that M.K. Gandhi had the right idea, although that he did not know how to implement it. Gandhi had thought that by providing modern amenities such as flushing toilet systems, people would be induced to remain in the villages. Therefore it has failed, because they had no engagement. So why they should remain in the village? There are so many attractions in the city, and they get money. The factory wallas, they're inviting, come here, you shall get 20 rupees per day. Why shall he remain in the village? So if you can organize in the villages, they are interested in chanting Hare Krishna mantra and getting nice prasada. Then, one must have some attachment. In the city there are so many artificial attachments. So on what ground they'll remain in the village? Mind. Always remember this, unless you have got some attachment, there is no possibility. Gandhi's program was very nice, village organized so they may not come to the city and help the capitalists. Remain satisfied in the village, but where is that satisfaction? That is the failure. Lokanath nodded. If they add the holy name to their lives, they will. Yes, Prabhupada affirmed. If they could understand that, that will be helpful if you chant. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statement will never be false. Chaito Darpanam Arjanam. If they chant Hare Krishna mantra, then gradually the dirty things accumulated within the heart will be cleansed. If he comes to the understanding, clear idea that I want to eat something and my necessities, so if I get my primary necessities of life and satisfaction of mind, then why shall I go to the city? That they can have very easily. They follow the instruction of Bhagavad Gita, that your first necessity is food. So produce food here. Krishigo Raksha Vanijyam. And you'll find here so much land is lying vacant, because they have gone to the city for 20 rupees daily to manufacture Goodyear tires. And who will work here? Now I have seen in Delhi, the government is advertising. Please, go back to the village. Rascal, you are manufacturing wine and keeping them engaged whole day in the work, so after being tired he requires some wine. Why he'll go? And no spiritual education, no cleanliness, simply inviting, go to the village, they will go. Beginning of Padayatra. Jai Prabhupada.